Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on the start of a new week, which will see the Premier League season get underway on Friday night. I was at Spurs yesterday, I'm sure you all watched, as Arsenal ended their pre-season campaign with defeat at Tottenham, going down 1-0, a second successive defeat in the Mind series after that 2-1 loss against Chelsea the week before. We'll talk a little bit about that game in this video. Look back on some of the sort of talking points from it, a couple of positives, a couple of negatives, go through my play ratings for the starting 11. I'm not going to go through everyone because it was impossible. So many substitutes came on in the second half, but I'll go through my player ratings from the starting 11 at the end of the video. But first of all, we'll start on some transfer news, shall we? And things are heating up when it comes to Joe Willock and a potential move to Newcastle. A fee now has been agreed between the two clubs for Willock. It's not done yet. He's got to agree personal terms and all that. But in terms of the club, a fee has now been agreed. He was left out of the squad in yesterday's game, despite he was training with the club all week. On Friday was part of the media day, sort of official squad photos, that sort of thing. But then he wasn't involved at Tottenham. It was pretty clear when that happened exactly what was going on. Arsenal weren't really saying anything. Mikel Arteta afterwards said, we will explain the reasons when we can, or it's all I can say for now. When I can say more, I will let you know. So Arsenal being very coy on the subject, but a fee has been agreed between Arsenal and Newcastle. It's over 20 million, could potentially reach around 25 million with add-ons and that sort of things, but it's a decent fee when it comes to Willock. You know, I've seen a lot of people saying, why are we selling him? Well, the fact is Arsenal need to sell players and bids haven't been arriving for other players, and this is a very good offer for a player who's not a regular starter, who, yes, had an absolutely brilliant end to his loan spell at Newcastle last season, but is that a flash in the pan? We don't really know yet when it comes to Joe Willock exactly what his level is. But I think, you know, before that loan spell, even before the last 7 games of last season, if someone said to you, a club is going to offer in excess of £20 million for Joe Willock, I think everyone would have absolutely accepted that in a heartbeat. Whether Arsenal live to regret it, we'll have to wait and see. Will it be another Emi Martinez situation? We'll have to wait and see. It's tough to predict that right now. But I think as it stands, a bid of this sort of size comes in for a player who isn't a regular starter, isn't going to be a regular starter, doesn't really have a place in the team. It's very tough to turn down, especially in this current climate when bids aren't arriving for other players. I know everyone's saying, why aren't we selling Torreira? Why aren't we selling Bellerin? The fact is, these players are open, they're available for transfer, but clubs aren't offering. A club is offering big money for Joe Willock, and that's why Arsenal are accepting it. The key now is that money is reinvested. If the deal goes through, like I said, it hasn't been done yet. He's got to agree personal terms and all that. He's got to decide if it's a move he wants. He's a London boy moving up permanently to North East is a big decision for him. So I wouldn't say it's absolutely done deal right now, but you would expect it's probably going to go through. And if it does, then the key is reinvesting that money properly. Arsenal, it was so clear what watching that game yesterday and what we've seen in pre-season already, and it's no surprise because let's face it, it's the same attacking players as it was last season, so nothing's really going to change, but it's so clear what Arsenal's issue is that they have to fix before the end of this transfer window, and that is bringing someone in who is going to provide more goal threat, more creativity. They've got to sort that out because right now it's just looking very one-paced when they go forward. Again, you know, if Smith Rowe's not creating, no one else is really going to create. I mean, it's going to improve when Saka gets properly fit and is back in the side because we know how good Bukayo Saka is. But I think when you look at that team as it stands at the moment, going forward, they still look like they're going to be a team that plays pretty slowly and finds goals tough to come by. Exactly as it was last season. And if they don't do something pretty big in the transfer market in the next few weeks, you really do feel like it's going to be another long, hard slog for Arsenal when it comes to breaking teams down and scoring goals. It's clear what the transfer priority is, and now it's up to Arsenal to go out and do that. And the fee for Willock will absolutely help. Getting this money in will help Arsenal go and push forward for a Maddison, for an Odegaard, for an Aouar, whoever it ends up being. And if right now I can't say who it's going to end up being because I just don't know. It just depends if they can put the deal down that tempts Leicester into doing business. If not, whether Real Madrid decide they are going to look to sell Martin Odegaard, who is still a priority target for Arsenal, along with Maddison. And if neither of those two work out, then you've got to go and find someone else. Do you take a bit of a punt on Aouar, who you were very convinced about last season because Arsenal bid 30 odd million for Aouar last season, so they were clearly convinced about him then? Do you go back and test the waters with Leon again for someone like him? We'll have to wait and see what they do. But this fee for Willock is certainly going to help with that should the deal go through. So I can understand why a lot of you are a little bit sort of umming and ahhing about it and wondering whether Arsenal are doing the right thing. But I think when you sort of look at it as a whole, when you look at the market and you see the fact that they're struggling to sell players and the bids aren't going to really arrive for anyone else at the moment, then I think this is an offer that's probably a little bit too good to turn down for Arsenal as it stands in the transfer market. Okay, looking back at that game yesterday against Tottenham, look, it was a strange game. I thought first half Arsenal were good. Again, that problem of not finishing teams off when you're on top came back to bite them because they were definitely the better team in that first half. I thought Tottenham started pretty well for 10 minutes, but Arsenal dominated the remainder of the first half, played some nice stuff, they pressed well. But they just didn't finish Tottenham off. They never really looked like they were going to score and create clear-cut chances. They had half chances. Lacazette hit the post with one effort, good effort that went wide. He had another volley, which he sort of miscued. They got into good positions in and around the box, down the bylines, but couldn't pick out someone with the cutback, with the cross. And it was just a bit of a same old story when it came to Arsenal. It's what we've seen before. And like I said, it's no surprise because it's the same players that we saw last season. And that's why they so desperately need to add something creativity-wise to their ranks, to their attack before the transfer window closes. But I thought they played pretty well. I mean, it all got a bit disjointed in the second half. Tottenham certainly got on top, I thought, in the second half. When Arsenal made all the substitutions, everyone started coming on and off. It disrupted the game, and Arsenal ended up conceding that goal to Son. Horrible goal to concede. Pablo Mari, I've been quite a big Pablo Mari fan since he arrived, but that was I thought it was a shocker. I don't know what he was doing for that goal yesterday. And El Neni sort of trying to anticipate the cross, but ended up running past the ball. And you do that with someone as good as Son around, he's always going to punish you, and that's what he did. So Arsenal ended up losing the game. Even after that, they had some chances to equalise and get something out of it. Saka had a chance that he didn't get a clean enough shot with, and Smith Rowe got into one decent enough opportunity he couldn't do better with. Mikel said it was a great test to play that type of game before the start of the season. I think the game had different phases. 10 minutes when we had some problems with our high press and we were a little bit disorganised. After that, we got control of the game and dominated. We had some big chances but didn't score. And they had one big chance and they didn't score. Second half, it was very interrupted with the amount of substitutions that happened. So the flow of the game is a bit more difficult, and it got decided in action where we made a mistake and we got punished. That's pretty much what I said from him then. So, I can see what he's saying with all that. But the fact was that, again, even in that first half when they dominated, and I think they did, it was still Tottenham who had the better opportunities. That Ali chance that hit the post right at the end, the Son one where Leno made a really good save in that first half. It was still Tottenham creating the big opportunities, and that is Arsenal's big area. They just don't look threatening going forward. Aubameyang looks a shadow of the striker. It is a worry, especially... He's had chances in pre-season. When he gets chances, I worry less about Orba because you feel like he will score most of them. He's just having a bit of an off run in front of goal. But it's just when you watch those sort of games yesterday when he's wide left and he's just not in the game at all and he doesn't look a threat and you think, oh, it's a worry. And for me, I have to say right now, I wouldn't start Aubameyang against Brentford on Friday. If Saka's fit and can play for 60 minutes, I'd play Saka left, Lacazette striker, and Pepe right, because Orba, he hasn't scored in all six games this pre-season, and it's just a worry. And I thought you looked well off the pace yesterday, and that is a big concern, because if Orba's not going to score you many goals, then you are going to struggle this season. And I think we're all hoping we're going to see the Orba of old, of his first two full seasons at Arsenal, and he's going to sort of find that top form again. But we've not really seen any signs yet in pre-season that is going to be the case, and that is a big worry, and that will be a big worry to Mikel Arteta. So that was certainly one of the negatives that came from yesterday's game. But there were positives as well, so I don't want it to be depressing after that defeat, because I thought it was two big positives, and those were in the sort of performances of the two new signings, Albert Sambi Lokonga, who I thought looked very, very impressive certainly in the first half, and Ben White as well, who just slotted in seamlessly and looked an absolute class act at the back. I thought Lokonga, his ability on the ball, is how comfortable he was on the ball, how he was when he received possession, his passing ability. I just thought it was a really, really good performance. I think he only misplaced one pass in the whole of the first half. He had the highest pass percentage of anyone in Arsenal. It was about sort of 93.9% or something it was. He was in the Tottenham half as well. He was good with the ball. He rarely lost it. And I was delighted to see him start yesterday because you feel that means he's surely going to be in pole position to start against Brentford on Friday alongside Granit Xhaka. I was very worried that Arteta would take the sort of more easy option and play El Neni, but you'd think now, certainly given his performance yesterday and the fact that he started, that it's going to be Lokonga against Brentford on Friday, and I think that's definitely the best option for Arsenal. And I thought he was very, very good, and it was exciting to see him and what he could bring this season. And Ben White as well, just absolutely excellent. I mean, look, you can question the transfer fee. You can question why Arsenal decided to spend 50 million on a centre back when they need to do something going forward, and they could have sort of prioritised that money elsewhere. But when it comes down to whether Arsenal have signed a very good player or not, there's no question about that. Ben White is an excellent centre back. He's going to be an excellent signing for Arsenal. I thought yesterday was superb. How comfortable he was on the ball, bringing it out, running forward, his passing ability, his reading of the game, his way he intercepted. When he was under pressure, how he dealt with those situations. Even in the air, I thought he was good, and he won some good headers. And I think that's the one area that we're all a little bit worried about how he was going to be. But I thought it was an excellent performance from Ben White yesterday. And so him and Lokonga, absolutely the two standouts for me. I thought they did very, very well in that half. Mikel, speaking about Ben White afterwards, said he was really good. Again, it's a match where they haven't played too much. Some of them have only trained 4 or 5 days, so you can see why we didn't want to risk many more. But it was a good start from Ben, and it absolutely was. So that's definitely a positive that we saw yesterday. Just on whether Arsenal are going to sign a backup keeper, Mikel was asked about that after the game on last night by James Benge over at CBS. He said, look, I don't know, I repeat myself, we train with the players we have available, we are trying to do the right things to improve the teams in the area that we needed. At the moment we have come so far and the window is still open. I asked Mikel after the game, look, it looks like you're selling Willock, you haven't scored many goals last season, you struggled to create, you haven't brought anyone in. Are you really happy with your attacking options at this stage of the transfer window? And he said, look, what we have to do, what we have is what we have to maximise, and worrying about things that we don't have at the moment, there is no point. My energy is only on the players we have and to making them better and make them better threat and win matches. It was a weird press conference from Mikel. Arsenal only allowed 4 questions. They were sort of muting journalists straight after they asked those questions yesterday. It was just a weird one. Mikel seemed in a bad mood. The Zoom press conferences are going to be a real struggle after games because the fans are still in the stadium at the moment. Obviously behind closed doors it was really quiet and easy to hear, but yesterday was a bit of a shambles. We couldn't hear him, he couldn't hear us. It was just one question and then you were quickly cut off, and then Mikel went after 4. It was a bit of a shambles. So I think it's going to take a little bit of getting used to or adjusting to Zoom press conferences while fans are in stadiums. So that'll be interesting. I think we'll be speaking to him on Wednesday this week, and obviously that one will be a normal press conference again via Zoom, but with him at Colney and us at home, and so it should be a much better one, and we should get much better, clearer answers from Mikel and be given more time to actually speak to him as well. Okay, finally, before I go, I'll just do my player ratings from the starting 11 yesterday. Bernd Leno in goal. I thought Bernd Leno did well. Actually made one really good save from Son in that first half. Got injured afterwards, and that was a bit of a scare because I think we all know if Bernd Leno gets injured at the moment, the way things stand for Arsenal, that could be an utter disaster because of who could come in to replace him. So I'm going to give Bernd Leno a 7. Ben White, I'm going to give an 8. I thought he was absolutely excellent in everything he did. Hector Bellerin, I'm going to give a 6. He put himself about. He got into decent areas down the right-hand side. Didn't take advantage of them, though. Defensively, he was a bit suspect on a couple of occasions. So I'm going to give him a 6. Pablo Mari, I'm going to give a 5 for just because of his mistake that led to the goal. In all honesty, I don't know what he was doing there. It was really, really poor. Tierney, I'm going to give a 6. Lokonga, I'm going to give an 8. I thought he was very good. Granit Xhaka, I thought was decent. He'll get a 7. Emil Smith-Rowe, I'll give a 7. He was the only one who ever really looked like doing anything in the central areas for Arsenal, so he gets a 7. Pepe, I'm going to give a 6 too. Saw a fair bit of the ball in dangerous areas, but didn't really do too much with it. He'll get 6. Orba, I can only really give a 4 to, really. I mean, he had one shot which he put way over, didn't get it anywhere near on target. He didn't create a single opportunity for anyone else. Just looked well off it. So I'll give him a 4, and that's pushing it really. And Laka, I thought actually did pretty well. He created some opportunities for himself. He hit the post with one effort. He forced Lloris into another save. Linked up okay. So I'm going to give Lacazette a 6. Maybe even no. I'll give him a 6. Lacazette. I thought he was certainly the best of Arsenal's two forwards when you compare him and Aubameyang's form. All right, everyone, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. As always, please do enjoy the start of your week as we edge towards Friday. Like I said, I think we'll be speaking to Mikel Arteta on Wednesday morning, but that hasn't yet been confirmed yet. Keep an eye on my social media accounts and Goal for all the latest Arsenal news. Speak to you soon.